The Competition Commission has welcomed the decision by the Competition Tribunal to confirm the consent agreement between the Commission and Shoprite Checkers. In terms of the consent agreement, Shoprite Checkers will no longer enforce the exclusivity clauses against other supermarkets. The Commission says this is an opportunity for new businesses to emerge and compete in the retail environment. Shoprite Checkers is the first retail store to agree to stop enforcing exclusive leases at the malls and shopping centres. Exclusivity will cease immediately in non-urban areas and will be phased out over 5 years in urban areas. The investigations into exclusive lease agreements started 12 years ago after it was initiated by the national supermarkets chain. The agreement is hoped to open access for SMEs and other retailers in more than 1,000 locations where Shoprite Checkers has exclusivity. In its final report released last year, the Commission found that long-term exclusive lease agreements limit customers' choice within shopping centres. Well, for more on this story, we're joined by James Hodge. He's Chief Economist at the Competition Commission of South Africa. Thanks very much for joining us, James. So is this rule now going to likely apply to other retailers?
Yes, well, we're in negotiations with the remaining retailers that have exclusive leases, and we hope to give you news of that shortly.
So does this mean that SMMEs can also enter the mall without any restrictions?
Yeah, so I think what was maybe less well known about these exclusive leases is they didn't just keep out other supermarkets, but they kept out small businesses and specialist businesses, your butcheries, bakeries, and liquor stores. And that probably is the more egregious part of the conduct from our perspective. You know, consumers go to malls, convenience centres, don't wish to drive around and inconvenience themselves, but that's where most shopping takes place, and you're denying access for people to set up businesses. And what we have seen as well is it's often on those product lines where we see the highest margins.
So with due respect to the Competition Commission, why did this thing take so long to conclude?
Look, I think, you know, the process of an investigation and also litigation does take time. So there was an important process of garnering evidence, of examining the views, and the supermarkets would argue that there are other reasons for this exclusivity and it's not harming. But the result of that investigation certainly concludes that there is harm from this practice, that consumers are worse off. It's not just about worse pricing, but it's also lack of choice. And importantly, it denies participation in the economy by a vast amount of new businesses and small businesses.
Any concerns that SMEs that do try and go into the mall spaces, that they may actually find it difficult to afford the rentals there?
Well, simultaneously, the retail inquiry has also looked to establish a code of conduct with the shopping mall owners and centres in order to exactly address that sort of concern. I mean, I think we are discovering with the whole disruption from COVID that at this stage, I think malls are looking to welcome new tenants into the mall and that rentals are lower. So we trust in this circumstance. In fact, this agreement may provide huge benefits for both the malls, who can now reach out to new tenants, and new businesses that get established. So it could well help with the recovery out of the current crisis.
And hopefully create a few more jobs in the process.
Exactly. A lot more jobs.
Thanks very much, James, for your time. That was James Hodge. He's a Chief Economist at the Competition Commission of South Africa. South African